Hi everyone, this is Jared, AC7WH, Backyard Ham Radio, and I need your help because I had a great QSO with an unknown ham radio operator on Father's Day. So that was a few weeks ago now, and it was on June 21st, 2026, UTC 2216 to 2226. And we each were about a 5.5. However, the signal was fluctuating. At times I was hearing him at about a 4.5. So just enough static, just enough fading to not quite catch certain key points. We had a great conversation, just in conversational speech, it wasn't much of an issue, but if I needed to catch details, at times it was tricky. So I guess the most accurate signal report might have been a 4.5 for the readability, and then about a 5 for the signal strength. But give or take about 4 or 5. But those key points, I was not quite catching something. For example, I thought I heard his name was Tim, and I thought I heard the call sign was KB6GFG, which is Kilo Bravo 6 Golf Foxtrot Golf. I know he did at the end of the conversation use some different phonetics, and I didn't quite catch those. In hindsight, I should have just double clarified, do I definitely have your call sign correct? Did I hear correctly that your name was Tim, or is it Jim? And I was caught up in the moment. I believe it was my first QSO for the day, and I was responding to a CQ. The frequency was 21.3905 megahertz on my dial, so basically 21.39 megahertz. And it was great. We talked a little bit about how I believe he had heard somebody on 17 meters, and then he spoke about how he might end up hearing me on 40 meters sometime, something like that. But when I heard him repeat the call sign as we were signing off, I thought it sounded like it might have been something different than KB6GFG. Now you may be wondering, well, why didn't you just check QRZ or something like that? Well, I did after the fact, and see, I do very basic ham radio operating when I'm actually on the air. I have my computer usually completely powered off. It's across the room. And I will occasionally pull up QRZ on my smartphone and check out where I'm hearing somebody from. Like if I'm hearing a conversation going on, maybe a pile up, and I'm waiting to see, okay, where is this exotic DX station coming from? I will do that from time to time. But otherwise, for logging and all of that, I just write things down on a piece of paper like this. So that's how I do my logs. And then I go on to QRZ.com. and I enter it digitally there, and while I'm doing that, I go ahead and copy it on a more permanent logbook that I have had for a few years or so now. So I do it very old school. I try not to rely too heavily on extra technology. For one, I guess this is kind of the big thing for me. I have not always trusted my computer system to not interfere in any way, shape, or form with my radio reception. And on top of that, since I use high power, I wouldn't want any of the stray signals to interfere with my computer and cause any kind of harm. Maybe I'm just extra careful, but I figure, hey, if I can just record it manually and focus on the actual conversation, since I'm more of a rag chewer, as they say, for those longer QSOs, then rather than trying to log one after another or something like that. I have respect for those who can do that well, but at the same time, it's definitely not me. I want that long conversation, 5 to 10 minutes plus. If I could have a half-hour conversation and we were both, keeping that conversation going, talking about interesting topics, I'd love that, especially if we get to test out different antennas or different power levels or even different frequencies maybe different bands with the same QSO, just continuing from one band to the next to check out propagation or something like that. That's where it's the sweet spot for me, as well as, making new friends over the air and talking about more important things in life. So that's where I am. But again, I have respect for those who do it differently. We're all different in our own ways, and so why not respect each other for that in a good way, right? Okay, so all that to sum up and say I need your help figuring out who this one is. So I thought for sure it was KB6 GFG. But I even tried searching for KB6CFG or CFC or KD6GFG. So many sound-alikes, look-alikes, whatever. I guess it would be sound-alikes because I was hearing it. It wasn't a ham radio TV type call. But anyway, you get the idea. I hope somehow someone can find this out, and who knows, maybe the awesome ham I had that great QSO with will watch my video. I believe I did mention that I have this YouTube channel, so maybe he will watch this and say, hey, Jared, it was this. It's GFC, not GFG, or something like that. But we'll find out. It almost sounded like at the end of that QSO that he said something like very fine grease or something, which would be VFG, but I tried that too. The KB6GFG, by the way, came up as a previously used call sign, as near as I could tell from my research on QRZ and other online search resources. So anyway, I hope somebody can help me out. Either way, I say that a lot, but either way, I will just mention that I enjoy my ham radio and have been having fantastic success with simple antennas, very simple setup. The equipment is nice, the radio, the tuner, the amplifier, but other than that, I keep things pretty simple when it comes to antennas and operating even with paper. Although in this case, it would have been nice to have it on the computer and say, wait a second, that's not coming up. Could you repeat? And then I would have known I needed to have that repeated. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to me today. I hope someone can help me out, and I hope this inspires you to do bigger and better things yourself. Thanks, everyone. This is Jared, AC7WH, Backyard Ham Radio 73.